Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Masterworks. I am Jason Meyer, and tonight we're going to start to feel color. So get ready to get weird. Get ready to get weird. As I started getting into painting when I was a student, and I started really quizzing my teacher on what color this was and what color that was, and this and that and this and that and this and that, he finally looked at me and he said, "You don't really see color, you feel it." And that basically locked me in for the rest of my days as a painter right there. What in the world is that, and how do I do it? So I thought tonight maybe we'd start looking that, more than look at that, start feeling our way into that. So happy to see you, Shakti. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Yes, yes, yes. I think the two of you will get a bit out of this for sure. At least that's my hope. That's my hope. And Miss Cindy, making sure everything works and everybody's happy. Bang, bang, bang. So we are here, ready to go. So I've got about 14 paintings lined up, and I want to go through them, I think, at least twice. The first time I'm going to go relatively fast, because rather than you really getting to see any detail, I just want a general impression. I don't want to make anybody dizzy. So we'll probably give it a few seconds, 3 to 5 seconds, and it'll be a switch. 3 to 5 seconds, and the next one. Okay, these are going to alternate, unless something technically goes wrong, between cool and warm and cool and warm and cool and warm. So let's see if we can't start to get a feel for this. See if we can't start to get a feel for this. All right, how did that go, guys? How did that go? Did you start to pick up, even though that the specific color changes, warm versus cool, there's a certain feeling to each one? Are you guys able to start to get onto that a little bit? So let's go back. So these first three are Jeremy Mann, an artist, at least I feel like I don't know where anybody is anymore. He used to be based out of San Francisco. Don't know if he's still there. Now, there's a little bit of warmth in here, but this is mostly all cools. Right, so one of the things I want you to notice is notice the dark. It's a little bit black, a little bit cold. So how does that feel different than those warm darks? Again, this is another Jeremy Mann, but we're not really trying, we're just trying to get a sense of what's the vibe, as Izzy would say. What's the vibe here? And how does this differ from this vibe? Does the warm feel a bit more mysterious? And the cool feel a little more surfacey? Maybe a little more depth in here? A little more mystery? Yeah, you know, some of it's the subject matter here, but yeah, cool seems dark, warm seems soft. So that hard is kind of a surface. So it can be like, it feels more of a stop. Where the warm lets you kind of glide through. Glide through. There's Shakti giving us the insight. So the cool gets straight and rigid inside my. Yeah, that's another perfect way of saying it. Again, it's just, let's see what happens here. Right. So this is a little more similar here, but do we have that soft, that spreading, a little bit more open? Right, not held quite so tight. But there's a cleanness, a freshness about the cool. Do you guys also see that? So it's not that one's got everything, but you know, for me, the warm has got more of an ancient, a deeper feeling. Look at, there we go. Cool makes me want to inhale. Warm makes me, I think you may be right. I've never, see, this is so good. I've never thought about that. Yeah, I think that's another great way of saying it, right? The cold's a little fresher. Inhale. You can almost think about cold versus the warm. All right, think about a cool Canadian morning or warm tropical afternoon. Right? All of it is accurate. And again, the more we get into that, then Susan, as you're deciding on your color scheme for the fish, you're going to have a better sense of that. So these next ones are Kwang Ho. And he's a living artist. Last I was going to say he was in Denver, but I think he might have moved to Pennsylvania. Seemed like I remember seeing some pictures of some land with a couple of studios on it in I think it was Pennsylvania. I could have it wrong. But anyway, He's in the United States here somewhere, unless he's left and I don't know about it. But very warm. And here's the same artist. Right, but very cool. Again, this has nothing to do with right or wrong. It simply has to do with what you want to say, what you want to portray, how you want your work to feel. Yeah. You guys have got some good ones tonight. You guys have got some good ones tonight. So just back and forth. And again, don't try to take this in too deeply because we're just seeing too many works tonight. The point tonight is just to kind of generally take it in and to really feel that difference between what warm gives you and what cool gives you. Now, granted, most everything I'm showing tonight's kind of an extreme of one or the other. They are more balanced. But again, let's go with the obvious first before we get more subtle. You know, even something like snow, which is a seemingly cold landscape, or maybe this is sand. This looks like snow to me. All right, so Susan was asking, when I decided on side my fish, the whole thing should be warm orange and warm blue, or cool orange and cool blue. That's one way that you can do it. With the palette we set up for you, your orange is warm and your blue is warm. Kind of a fun fact, orange is one of those sides that doesn't, it's not so obvious the cooler and the warmer on that. All right, so that's a little bit tough. But what I was thinking was that your warm would be dominant, and that would give you a more peaceful look with the water and everything. And then your orange would be a little bit more gray and big, and then your silvery would be glimmering. Glimmering, how's that for a word? Glimmering silver. So warm, cool. So to me, Susan, this is closer. You know, you see how there's a lot of warm in this blue? Right? And this gray's even warm. So it's always going to be relative. I could probably hold this up and make it seem like the cool version. If it was, I mean the warm version, if it was next to something else. Right? And then as you just get kind of black and red, notice this, it's a grayed yellow orange. Do you see all that? So if the computer's reading it right, as cool as we get is a slight greenish, warm green tint. That's it. That's it, that's it, that's it. Right, so even regardless of paint application or style, the color scheme does something. This might be the closest thing we see to see. His blue is a lot lighter. I think your blue will be a lot deeper, but you can see there's some little bit of that orange right in here. It'd be your big fish, and the white would be the gray silver. Yes, yes, yes. You know, it's hard to see how gray this is until you look at the real blue pieces. Right? If you look here, you can see how gray off that is. If you look right here and right here, you can start to see how gray all of that is. See glinting in the water. Yeah, you see different things now, don't we? It's funny. It's funny. You know, they were always there. We just see it differently. And then here, at the end, I wanted to. This is a warm, but it's more of a purple orange. Do you see this? So yours, like this is would be in my mind something what you're gonna get with ultramarine blue, and then hopefully with your orange, it's gonna be somewhere in there. Oops, let's try that again. So the orange there, ultramarine blue. So this is how I see your painting that you're gonna be working on, Susan. The blue water in there, the orange down in here, right? You know, maybe the lighter parts are up in there, and then some glinting silver. Boom, you won't have this cool unless you switch your thing, but I think that's gonna be really nice underwater warmth there. And back to cool. Would you say you saw some glints on the water? Yeah, yep, even in the hints of it on the clouds. But the coolness, again, that freshness, that kind of everything's right here on the surface. Almost a newness about it, if we can, versus the ancientness of the warmth. Right, as that warm gets over to yellow, you know the feeling, the saying, the warm glow. The warm glow. Is that what you get from this painting? It's what I get. Right, particularly this warm gray back here. Look how luminous this gray is. Did you know there was such a thing as a luminous gray? Huh? Have you ever seen a luminous gray before? All right, guys, so we're a little bit early. Let's give our eyes a rest. Let's give our eyes a short rest, and then maybe we'll take one more quick through here, maybe 3 to 5 seconds again. Again, we don't want to overdo it, but these things are so much more than formulas, or this color mixed with this color. It really all does come down to feeling, right? How the painting feels. And so as the artist, as the author of this painting, you're in charge of the story, you're in charge of the mood, you're in charge of the atmosphere, right? You're in charge of what happens. And we can't be in charge unless we know what's going on. What's going on? All right, you guys down for one more round, and then we'll call it an evening. We got a full week ahead of us. A full week. All right, let's do one more round. Again, these first ones are Jeremy Mann. Does these cityscapes. So this was Los Angeles. I think the last one was New York or San Francisco. Definitely New York there. I guess it should be Colorado. I don't know. I shouldn't say definite. So again, this is completely independent of subject matter. Right? Completely independent of subject matter. And it's not absolute either. Right? You can stretch it calmly cool, calmly warm, or we can have some drama, or we could have a little more drama, a little more impact, a little more me, look at me. What a clever work this is. Right, Susan? How many times have I told you, Susan, that you can't do this? And here I am showing you. I think this is like a 4 or 6 foot painting. This thing's huge. And look, he stuck most of it right. Put your nose right there. Oh my goodness. Wow. Do I owe you money, Susan? Do I owe you money? No, these are not mine. Thank you. This artist's name's Havsep Pushman. He was Armenian American. He's passed away, but yeah, Push Pushman was his last name. And yeah, he had mood. He had some mood. But no, that's not me. That's not me. I want to hug you for even asking that, though. I do want to hug you, even if just for asking. All right, so that was Kwang Ho there, those last two. Oh, thank you, Susan. Thank you. And we got warm snow. We won't mention all the skulls on the shore here. Oof. Oof, oof. Seems like there's a darker story to this, huh? A darker story. Maybe the skulls on the shore explains why this was done so warm. Maybe that's more fitting of the... Right? Because if there's anything ancient, there's going to be some not so great about it, right? Nothing's good always. Okay, guys. So let me know. Are you getting a little feel for this? And again, you're not going to get it in one time, but by revisiting this and seeing this and making this part of our consciousness, part of our awareness, right? And now we were looking at the big things, right? Because, you know, there's a lot even going on in here. But we're not looking at these little individual colors. What we're doing is looking at the overall painting. The painting as a whole. Right? So we can do that to get our values. See what that dark shape that runs across this canvas is and how it relates to that light shape that runs across this canvas. Independent of in any individual light or dark. And we can also think about color as the overall canvas rather than any particular spot on the canvas. So this is something we haven't spent a lot of time about before now. But I mean, as you can see, it really does affect the painting in its own way, right? Color can never take the place of value, but value can never give you the mood you can get with color. Okay? Value you can think of as the building, and then color's the lighting with the fabric. Warm, cool, and again, yeah, that's some. It's not all, but predominantly, right? You feel this is cool, right? If you go in here and you start calculating, you can actually really confuse yourself. But if just off the first, is it warm or cool? It's warm. It's warm. Man, that's so warm. Almost stuffy, isn't it? I love seeing these and trying to feel them. Good, good, good. So we'll do this some more often. But again, it's all right here in front of us. Sometimes it's just the matter of how we approach it, how we approach this. So thank you guys so much. Be back in the morning for some morning jump start. I think I got some things from you, Susan, or one thing at least. So we'll have that, and we'll see what else we can get into. If I don't get too much and we just have yours, Susan, or yours and one others, then maybe we'll play with some of those color schemes we talked about today in the Procreate and see how they look. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Have a beautiful rest, and we'll see you in the morning. Bye-bye, everybody.